Welcome back to my channel. Your Honor, he lied to every single one of us. And today, the truth finally takes the stand. But here's the question that's tearing this courtroom apart. Whose side are you really on? Because when this verdict drops, it won't just divide the family. It might destroy what's left of it forever. The air inside the Flagstaff courthouse was suffocating. Every creak of the wooden benches sounded like a warning. The Brown family entered one by one. Faces pale, eyes hollow, each carrying the weight of a decade's worth of broken promises. The courtroom lights gleamed off the polished floors, reflecting years of secrets buried under the image of a spiritual family. The judge, gray-haired and sharp-eyed, watched them take their seats. This wasn't just another case. It was the dismantling of a dynasty. At the defense table, Kody Brown sat motionless, his jaw clenched so tight it could have shattered stone. Beside him, Robin held a folder so close to her chest it looked like armor. Across the aisle, Christine, Janelle, and Mary sat together for the first time in years, their silence louder than any outburst. For once, the sister wives stood united. The judge's gavel struck. This court is now in session, Brown versus Brown. The matter of Coyote Pass and allegations of fraud and misrepresentation will be heard. A shiver ran through the room. Christine rose slowly, voice trembling but resolute. Your Honor, for years, Kody promised that our sacrifices would be rewarded, that this land, Coyote Pass, was our family's legacy. I gave up everything believing that dream. But today, all I have left are broken promises and empty bank accounts. Janelle nodded, her voice cracking. He told me the same thing. I sold my house in Las Vegas. Every dollar I earned went into that land. But whenever I asked for paperwork or proof, there was always an excuse. Always a delay. The judge's eyes narrowed. Mr. Brown, how do you respond to these claims of deception and financial misconduct? Kody straightened, his voice tight. Your Honor, this was never fraud. This was supposed to be our dream. Our family dream. Plans changed. The economy shifted. I did what I had to do. Robin leaned in, whispering sharply, stick to the story. Don't admit anything. But before Kody could finish, a gasp rippled through the courtroom. Christine's lawyer had risen, a sharp-eyed woman known for tearing through lies like paper. Your Honor, she said, holding up a thick file, we intend to prove not only that Mr. Brown lied, but that he systematically concealed money transfers from his wives. We have bank statements, text messages, and a recorded phone call that tell a very different story than the one Mr. Brown is spinning here today. A wave of murmurs erupted. Cameras clicked. Reporters scribbled. Kody's face turned ashen. From the witness bench, Mary spoke for the first time, her tone steady but heartbreaking. I believed in the dream. I believed in him. But when the money started disappearing and the promises stopped coming, I realized faith wasn't enough. We deserve answers. Our children deserve justice. The judge nodded solemnly. Very well. The court will hear the evidence in due time. For now, proceed with your opening statements. Christine's lawyer turned toward the jury. This case isn't just about land or money. It's about trust. These women gave up their independence, their savings, their lives for a dream. But while they sacrificed, Mr. Brown and Mrs. Robin Brown were transferring money into secret accounts and making deals behind their backs. The evidence will show this was not an accident. It was a strategy. Kody's attorney leapt up. Objection. My client acted for the benefit of the entire family. This is nothing but misunderstanding and miscommunication. The judge waved him off. Objection noted. Continue. But just as the room began to settle, a voice rose from the back, calm but trembling. Your Honor, may I speak? It was Maddie, one of Kody's eldest daughters. The courtroom froze. The judge hesitated, then nodded. Proceed. Maddie stood, voice quivering. I watched my mom fight for years. I heard the arguments, the secrets, the promises that never came true. We were told that Coyote Pass would be our inheritance. But that's not the truth. There are things you don't know. Things that happened when the cameras weren't rolling. Dad made promises, but he also made threats. I have the messages to prove it.
The courtroom gasped.
Kody's face twisted in disbelief. Robin's hand went rigid. The judge quickly cut in. That's enough for today. All evidence will be reviewed in due process. But the damage was done. The press outside could already smell blood. Kody Brown's family implodes in court. Coyote Pass scandal. Daughter exposes betrayal. The next morning, the courthouse overflowed. Cameras flashed. Fans lined the sidewalks. Inside, the Browns sat in tense silence as the judge called the session to order. Christine's lawyer stood once again, this time holding a thick folder. Your Honor, we present bank statements spanning 5 years, showing over $400,000 in transfers from joint family accounts to accounts held only by Kody and Robin Brown. These funds were moved, without consent from the other wives. A ripple of outrage surged through the gallery. Janelle's fists clenched. Christine's glare cut through Kody like glass. Robin avoided eye contact, her knuckles bone white. Kody's lawyer tried to object. Those funds were for family needs, housing, children, education, but Christine's attorney interrupted sharply. Then explain these receipts: luxury furniture, private tuition for Robin's children, and exclusive vacations, all paid for from the family fund. This wasn't support. It was theft disguised as leadership. The judge raised an eyebrow. Continue. Then, something unexpected happened. As the documents were placed on the evidence table, a single envelope slipped free. Janelle's attorney picked it up carefully. Your Honor, he said, voice steady, this appears to be a handwritten will, signed by Mr. Brown, promising my client 25% ownership of Coyote Pass. The courtroom erupted. Kody's face went pale. Robin's hand flew to her mouth. The judge examined the signature. Mr. Brown, do you acknowledge this document? Kody stumbled. That was a draft. It was never final. Janelle rose, tears brimming. You gave that to me when I sold my home. You told me my share was safe. That was your word. Robin cut in coldly. It's easy to forge a signature, especially when people are desperate. Mary snapped, her voice slicing through the noise. Desperate? We begged for proof for years. We begged for paperwork. He always said, trust me. But trust doesn't build a home. It just builds a lie. The judge slammed his gavel. Enough. All handwriting will be examined by experts. But before the courtroom could catch its breath, Christine's lawyer lifted one final piece of evidence, a printed series of text messages. Your Honor, these are from Mr. Brown to a Flagstaff real estate agent. They show he attempted to sell parts of Coyote Pass without informing the other wives. The messages were read aloud. Need this deal off the books. Don't tell the others. Just me and Robin. If they find out, it all blows up. Silence. Christine's face hardened. Janelle shook her head in disbelief. Even Mary looked shattered. Kody's voice broke. Those texts, they were taken out of context. I was trying to handle logistics. Taxes. It's not what it looks like. But the judge's tone was final. Mr. Brown, you will have your chance to explain under oath. As the gavel fell, the fate of the Brown family hung in the air. The truth was no longer a secret, it was evidence. And for the first time in years, the sister wives weren't standing behind Kody Brown. They were standing against him. Because sometimes justice doesn't destroy a family. It reveals what was already broken. If you thought the courtroom drama had already reached its peak, think again. Because just when the Browns thought things couldn't possibly get any worse, the truth began to detonate, one secret at a time. For now, the judge said, his voice carrying a quiet warning through the packed courtroom, the evidence stands. At the defense table, Robin leaned in close to Kody, her whisper trembling with fear.
We need to stop this.
If the nanny's diary comes out, it's over.
Kody didn't respond.
He couldn't. His jaw was locked, his pulse pounding. Every memory, every deal, every cover-up, every late-night whisper he thought would stay hidden, now hung in the air, ready to explode. And then, just as the tension seemed to break, the prosecution called their next witness. Someone with nothing left to lose. The bailiff's voice rang out. Leon Brown, please take the stand. Leon rose slowly. The courtroom hushed. Their voice shook at first, but steadied as they began. I love my dad, but there are things that need to be said. We weren't always told the truth. They explained how Christine once discovered her access to family funds suddenly denied, and when she asked about it, Kody brushed her off with excuses. Again and again, the pattern repeated. We felt powerless, Leon said, their eyes wet. Family meetings turned into blame sessions. And somehow, Robin always knew more than the rest of us. Robin's composure cracked. That's not true, she cried. I try to hold this family together. Leon met her gaze calmly. Maybe that's what you told yourself. But you were the only one who never lost access to anything. The courtroom fell silent. Even the judge paused his pen mid-stroke, then nodded. Thank you, Leon. Your testimony is noted. As Leon stepped down, Christine's lawyer stood, calm, deliberate, and carried a small silver recorder to the evidence table. Your Honor, these are audio recordings from private family meetings. What you're about to hear captures Mr. Brown's own words, promising fairness in public and betrayal in private. The first clip began to play. Kody's voice echoed through the speakers, steady and cold. We have to keep them happy for now. But ultimately, it's you and me who make the decisions, Robin. Don't worry about what they think. They'll get over it. The room froze. Christine's breath caught in her throat. Mary covered her mouth. Robin's eyes darted to Kody, whose face drained of color. It was the sound of their empire cracking in real time. Kody's lawyer jumped up. Your Honor, we request a recess. The judge agreed. His gavel struck once, sharp and final. Court will resume after recess. Outside, chaos reigned. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted. Kody and Robin caught in secret recordings. Brown family explodes in courtroom showdown. Inside, the family split into two distinct camps. Christine, Janelle, and Mary, three women once divided by jealousy, now united by truth. On the other side, Robin and Kody huddled together, whispering strategy through gritted teeth. But the tide had shifted. For the first time, Kody Brown wasn't in control. The evidence was too strong. The court, too hungry for answers. As the judge's words from earlier echoed through everyone's mind, this court is not just deciding who owns Coyote Pass, but who will face the consequences of their choices. The sun dipped behind the courthouse, long shadows stretching across the pavement as the Browns exited in silence, changed forever. Day 3. Gray clouds rolled over Flagstaff, heavy and unyielding. The courthouse loomed like judgment itself. Inside, the Browns took their seats, eyes sunken, spirits frayed. Everyone knew today would decide allegiances and shatter illusions. The judge's gavel struck again. We will now proceed with witness testimony. The court calls Aspen Brown. Christine's eldest daughter, Aspen, stepped forward, calm, but trembling slightly. Your Honor, she began softly, I loved growing up in a big family. But there were things we didn't understand. Promises made, then broken. I remember my mom crying when money disappeared and being told not to ask questions. Christine blinked back tears, her pride and pain intertwined. Aspen continued. When we moved to Flagstaff, Dad said it was for our future. But that future always slipped away. Every year, another excuse. And if we asked where the money went, Dad got angry. He said it wasn't our business, but it was our lives. Kody's lawyer stood. Aspen, isn't it true your father provided for you? You never went without, did you? Aspen nodded slowly. We weren't hungry, no. But that's not the same as honesty. Dad wanted us loyal, not curious. But secrets don't stay buried forever. Her final words lingered as she stepped down. Then came another name that made Kody flinch. Hunter Brown, please take the stand. Janelle's son, steady, composed, an army medic. His presence commanded silence. I learned to be strong for my siblings, Hunter said. Dad was around, but never really there. When Mom asked about money, he brushed her off. I saw the hurt. I wanted to fix it, but I couldn't. Janelle's lawyer approached. Hunter, did your father ever explain the financial transfers? Hunter shook his head.
No.
He said it was above our pay grade. But I started digging. I found emails, transfers, hidden accounts. He wasn't protecting the family. He was protecting himself. Kody tried to interject. That's not true. Hunter's tone turned cold. You called it protection, Dad. But it was control. He handed the judge a printed email thread between Kody and the family accountant, instructions to limit access to joint accounts and redirect funds into a private account labeled security fund. The courtroom went still. The judge's brow furrowed as he scanned the papers. And then came the next name, the one that made even Janelle go pale. Gabriel Brown, please take the stand. Gabriel's hands shook as he sat down. Your Honor, I didn't want to be here, he whispered. But I have to tell the truth. He described the endless fights, the closed-door meetings between Kody and Robin, the nights his mother cried while his father vanished into silence. It didn't feel like family anymore, Gabriel said. It felt like business. Then he told them about the folder, the one marked private, that he found buried in the office. Inside, detailed notes about dividing Coyote Pass, but the names listed belonged only to Robin and her children. I asked Dad where Mom's name was, Gabriel said quietly. He told me not to worry about it. But I did. I couldn't stop. By now, the courtroom wasn't just silent, it was suffocating. The once mighty patriarch sat trapped in the center of his own empire, surrounded by the voices of the very children he had once ruled over. And as the judge called for recess, the Browns sat motionless, a family shattered, a legacy on trial, and the truth finally clawing its way to the surface. Tomorrow, the judge said, we proceed with the diary. The words sent a chill through the room. Robin's face went pale. Kody closed his eyes. Because they both knew, once that diary hit the stand, there would be no more hiding. The courtroom had fallen into a silence so thick, it was almost suffocating. The weight of truth pressed against every wall, every breath. Savannah's trembling voice still echoed in the judge's mind when the next words shattered the stillness. The defense calls Robin Brown to the stand. A murmur rippled through the gallery. Cameras flashed. Reporters leaned forward, pens hovering in midair. And at the center of it all, Robin rose slowly from her seat, her hand clutching a worn leather diary like it was both a shield and a confession. Her attorney, Ms. Ellis, walked beside her, exuding calm, but Robin's eyes betrayed the storm within. As she approached the stand, Kody avoided her gaze. The man who once promised to protect her now looked like he needed protection himself. The judge's tone was cool but direct. Mrs. Brown, are you prepared to testify? Robin nodded. Yes, Your Honor, she whispered, her voice barely steady. Ms. Ellis began softly. Robin, you've been accused of deception, of hiding funds, of favoritism. And yet, today, you hold something the court has been waiting for, a record of the truth. Tell us, why did you keep this diary? Robin took a shaky breath. It wasn't mine, she said. It belonged to our nanny, Miss Harris. She worked for us for 7 years. She saw everything, the arguments, the secrets, the tears after the cameras stopped rolling. She said she kept this diary to protect herself, but after everything that's happened, I believe she meant to protect all of us. She placed the diary on the judge's bench. Its cracked spine creaked open like the sound of a vault unlocking. Inside were years of dates, initials, and conversations the world was never supposed to hear. Ms. Ellis cleared her throat. If it pleases the court, I'd like to read a few entries. The judge nodded. The attorney turned to a page marked April 4th. Her voice carried through the room. Christine sobbed in the kitchen after another argument with Kody. He told her she'd get her share when the time was right. Later that night, I overheard Kody telling Robin that the land would only go to her and her children. Christine feels betrayed, but doesn't want to fight. A gasp rippled through the courtroom. Christine covered her face, trembling. Janelle reached over, squeezing her hand. Kody shifted in his seat, jaw clenched, eyes cold and cornered. The next entry followed. June 19th. Mary tried to speak with Kody about finances. He shouted that she was never satisfied. After she left, he told Robin that Mary was out of the will no matter what she believed. Mary's breath caught in her throat. Years of suspicion, now carved in ink for the world to see. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "So it was true all along." Robin bowed her head, tears glimmering in the courtroom light. "I knew," she said softly. "I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to think Kody was doing what was best for the family. I wanted peace, not war. But peace built on lies never lasts." Ms. Ellis hesitated, then flipped to one final page, dated October 3rd. Kody and Robin locked themselves in the office with financial papers. Robin begged Kody to be honest with the others. Kody said, "If they find out, we lose everything." The judge's eyes lifted sharply. "Mrs. Brown, are these words true?" The attorney turned to a page marked April 4th. Her voice carried through the room. Christine sobbed in the kitchen after another argument with Kody. He told her she'd get her share when the time was right. Later that night, I overheard Kody telling Robin that the land would only go to her and her children. Christine feels betrayed, but doesn't want to fight. A gasp rippled through the courtroom. Christine covered her face, trembling. Janelle reached over, squeezing her hand. Kody shifted in his seat, jaw clenched, eyes cold and cornered. The next entry followed. June 19th. Mary tried to speak with Kody about finances. He shouted that she was never satisfied. After she left, he told Robin that Mary was out of the will no matter what she believed. Mary's breath caught in her throat. Years of suspicion, now carved in ink for the world to see. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "So it was true all along." Robin bowed her head, tears glimmering in the courtroom light. "I knew," she said softly. "I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to think Kody was doing what was best for the family. I wanted peace, not war. But peace built on lies never lasts." Ms. Ellis hesitated, then flipped to one final page, dated October 3rd. Kody and Robin locked themselves in the office with financial papers. Robin begged Kody to be honest with the others. Kody said, "If they find out, we lose everything." The judge's eyes lifted sharply. "Mrs. Brown, are these words true?" Robin's voice broke. "Yes, Your Honor. I tried. I tried to make him tell them the truth. But he wouldn't listen. He said secrecy was protection. I realize now it was control." The prosecution's attorney, Ms. Howard, rose slowly, her tone deliberate. "If I may, Your Honor, there's one more entry." The courtroom froze. December 12th. I heard Robin crying in the guest room. She said, "If the other wives ever see these bank records, it'll all come crashing down." Kody told her, "As long as you stay quiet, no one will ever know." Robin covered her face with her hands. "I never wanted any of this," she cried. "I just wanted a family. I thought silence would save us. I didn't realize it would destroy everything." Christine rose, trembling but resolute. "Your Honor, this is what we've lived with. Years of manipulation, of half-truths, of loyalty weaponized against us. We trusted him. We trusted her. And all along, they trusted only themselves." The judge's gavel struck once. "Order." He looked over the courtroom, his tone grave. "This diary paints a picture not of unity, but of betrayal and fear. Of promises made to the world, and secrets whispered behind closed doors. This court will weigh every word carefully." Mary stood suddenly, voice breaking through the silence. "Robin, why didn't you speak up? Why did you watch us fall apart and say nothing?" Robin's tears fell freely now. "Because I was afraid, Mary. Afraid of losing everything I'd built. Afraid of losing him." Mary shook her head slowly. "You already did." The courtroom was still again. Not the stillness of peace, but the quiet that follows a bomb going off. As the judge adjourned for the day, reporters burst into motion outside. Cameras rolled, headlines formed, and the Brown family, once a symbol of unity, stood fractured under the weight of truth. Inside, Kody slumped in his chair, face pale, eyes distant. The man who once controlled the story had finally lost it, and as the courtroom emptied, the diary remained on the evidence table, its pages still open, its secrets finally free. But tomorrow would bring the testimony that no one was prepared for. The tension inside the courtroom was like static before a storm. Every breath, every whisper felt dangerous. Robin wiped her eyes, her voice trembling through the silence. "I was scared, Mary," she confessed. "Kody told me if I spoke up, we'd all be ruined. I thought we could fix it behind closed doors. I thought I was protecting everyone." Janelle's voice cut through the air like a blade. "Protecting everyone? You let us tear each other apart while you watched. You could have stopped this years ago, Robin." Kody flinched. His voice cracked. "Stop, please. I never wanted any of this. I tried to hold the family together. I thought if I could just buy time, maybe we'd find a way back." But the judge wasn't moved. "Mr. Brown," she said sharply, her gaze steady, "lies and secrecy are not the foundation for family, and certainly not for the law. This diary will undergo full authentication. If confirmed, it will stand as the cornerstone of this case." Gasps and whispers rippled through the room. Outside, reporters scrambled for updates, shouting into cameras, their words echoing down courthouse steps. Inside, the Browns sat in fractured silence, old alliances crumbling, new accusations rising from the dust. As the gavel struck and court adjourned, emotions spilled into the open. Robin sobbed into her hands. Christine wrapped her arms around her daughters, finally free to grieve in truth. Janelle stared blankly ahead, haunted by years of betrayal. And Mary, once fiery with anger, now sat still, her rage replaced by sorrow. Her last flicker of hope for reconciliation had finally gone dark. Kody sat alone, surrounded by family, yet utterly isolated. His authority, his legacy, his reputation, all slipping through his fingers like sand. Outside, microphones thrust forward. Was the diary real? Will Kody confess? Is this the end of the Brown family? But none of the wives spoke. For the first time, they were silent, not in fear, but in power. Because this time, they weren't fighting Kody. They were fighting for their voices, for their children, for their right to the truth. As the sun set behind the courthouse, painting the clouds in bruised shades of purple and red, the Browns stood divided, but in a strange way, more united in purpose than ever before. And tomorrow, Kody Brown would take the stand. The man who built his life on control would finally face a truth he could no longer twist. Would he come clean? Or would his final lies bury the truth for good? The courthouse pulsed with anticipation. Reporters crowded the steps, cameras trained on the double doors. Inside, every seat was filled, fans, skeptics, and family alike waiting for the moment that could change everything. When Kody entered, the room fell silent. Gone was the bravado, the charm, the certainty. He looked smaller somehow, his dark suit stiff, his eyes hollow. Even his hair, usually slick and controlled, hung loose from a restless night. He avoided Christine's steady gaze. He couldn't face Janelle's quiet fury. And when his eyes finally met Mary's, the disappointment there nearly broke him. Even Robin, his last remaining ally, seemed a world away, her hands clasped tightly in her lap, her face pale. The judge's gavel slammed down. "Mr. Brown, please take the stand." Each step Kody took felt heavier than the last. When he raised his right hand to swear his oath, it trembled. The words, "the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth," hung in the air like a promise he'd already broken 100 times. Christine's attorney, Miss Howard, began. Her tone was calm but razor-sharp. "Mr. Brown, did you ever make promises to your wives, Christine, Janelle, or Mary, regarding their share of Coyote Pass?" Kody exhaled slowly, eyes downcast. "Yes, I made promises. Different ones, at different times. I wanted everyone to feel included, to believe in our future. Maybe I promised too much. I thought I could make it work." Miss Howard's expression didn't change. So, you acknowledge those promises existed. Did you ever put them in writing? Kody shook his head.
Rarely.
I thought our word was enough. I thought we were family. The courtroom was utterly silent. Every pen stopped moving. Miss Howard stepped forward, then explained the bank transfers. The funds moved from family accounts into private ones, yours and Robin's. Were those done for the benefit of everyone? A bead of sweat rolled down Kody's temple. At first, yes, he said. Bills, materials, property taxes. But when Christine and Janelle started pulling away, I got scared. I started thinking about security. For myself. For Robin. I didn't want to be left with nothing. Janelle gasped softly. Christine's eyes filled with disbelief. Even Robin looked shocked. So, Miss Howard said, voice rising, you prioritized yourself and Robin over the rest of your family? Kody's voice broke.
Yes.
I got scared. I thought if I held on to the land, I'd still have something, even if I lost everyone else. The courtroom erupted in murmurs until the judge demanded order. Miss Howard wasn't finished. She held up a stack of printed text messages. Mr. Brown, these are conversations between you and your real estate agent, discussing the sale of portions of Coyote Pass without notifying the other wives. Did you attempt to sell the land in secret? Kody swallowed hard.
Yes.
I thought if I could sell one piece, I could pay debts, start over. I was going to tell them later. But I never did. Gasps filled the room again. Miss Howard pressed further. And the will? The one promising Janelle 25% of the land? You gave it to her, then hid it away.
Why?
Kody's eyes glistened. I wanted to reassure her. But Robin was afraid dividing it would ruin us financially. She said we needed to hold off. I listened to her. I told myself I was buying time. But I was just lying to everyone, including myself. Tears rolled down Janelle's cheeks. Finally, the truth she'd carried for years was spoken aloud. Miss Howard took a step back. Do you feel any remorse, Mr. Brown? Kody looked at each wife, his voice barely above a whisper. More than I can explain. I loved all of you. I thought I was protecting us. But I was only protecting myself from facing the truth. The courtroom was still. Then Kody's own attorney, Mr. Miller, stood for the defense. Mr. Brown, he began softly. Many would say no man could manage a family of this size without making impossible choices. Did you ever feel trapped? Kody nodded slowly. Every day. No matter what I did, someone felt left out. I thought I could balance it, but I just made it worse. Did the other wives ever conspire against you? Kody shook his head.
No.
They were just trying to survive. I was the one who made them fight each other. Then Robin's attorney rose. Kody, did I ever tell you to keep secrets from them? Kody turned to her, eyes soft, broken.
No, Robin.
You wanted me to tell the truth.
I just didn't know how.
For the first time, Robin broke down, tears streaming freely. The judge's tone softened but remained stern. Mr. Brown, in light of your admissions, the bank records, the hidden will, the diary, do you now accept responsibility for your actions? Kody nodded, his voice barely audible. Yes, Your Honor. I failed my family. I failed everyone I was supposed to protect. The silence that followed was suffocating. Reporters scribbled. Cameras clicked. Fans online erupted. But inside that courtroom, the Browns sat frozen, trapped between relief and ruin. The judge called a recess before closing statements. Outside, headlines blazed across the internet. Kody Brown confesses under oath, secret land deals exposed. Sister wives courtroom implodes, truth finally out. In the hallway, Christine hugged her daughters. Janelle whispered, we deserved better. Mary stared forward, her heart hardened by truth. Robin approached Kody quietly. We can't go back, can we? He shook his head, silent. As cameras flashed, the family said nothing. For once, their silence wasn't weakness. It was surrender. When the judge returned, her voice was calm but powerful. This court has heard the truth. confessions, evidence, and pain that spans decades. Tomorrow, I will deliver my verdict. But remember, the true cost of this case isn't in land or money. It's in trust lost, in relationships broken, and in wounds that may never heal. As the courtroom emptied, the Browns lingered, each trapped in memories, regret, and the wreckage of what used to be love. The world watched, the family waited, and justice at long last was coming. Tomorrow the verdict. Inside the courtroom, silence pressed down like a physical weight, a silence reserved for moments when lives pivot on a single word. Kody sat rigid, hands tightly folded, trying not to tremble. Beside him, Robin dabbed at her eyes, mascara smudged from the night's tears. Across the aisle, Christine, Janelle, and Mary clustered together, their unity hard-won and battle-forged, though beneath the calm, uncertainty flickered in their eyes. The judge entered with an air of finality. Every eye followed him as he took a seat. Reporters scribbled furiously, cameras rolling discreetly. Then, with a single sharp bang of the gavel, the room seemed to exhale. "This court will now deliver its verdict," the judge announced, voice solemn. "The case of Brown versus Brown has been heard in full. We have reviewed all evidence, listened to hours of testimony, and witnessed the unraveling of trust, both financial and emotional. Today's decision is about more than property. It is about justice and the hope that truth can begin the process of healing." A hush fell. Even the bailiff seemed to hold his breath. Who would walk away with Coyote Pass? Who would lose everything? The tension was electric. Turning first to the matter of land ownership, the judge began. "The court finds that Kody Brown made verbal and written promises to Christine, Janelle, and Mary regarding their stakes in Coyote Pass. Though inconsistently documented, these promises were relied upon by the plaintiffs when investing funds and making personal sacrifices. Evidence shows that Kody Brown took deliberate steps to conceal key financial transactions, prioritizing his own interests and those of Robin to the detriment of the other parties." Kody stared at the floor, unable to meet anyone's gaze. Accordingly, the judge continued, "Coyote Pass shall be divided into 4 equal shares as originally promised. Christine, Janelle, and Mary each receive 1/4, with the final quarter remaining under Kody Brown's name. Any prior secret transfers are hereby voided." Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Christine squeezed Janelle's hand, tears spilling freely. Mary closed her eyes, relief and grief mingling. Vindicated, yet forever changed. The judge raised a hand. "Let it be clear, this decision is based not only on contracts but on the principle that promises matter. Families cannot be built on shifting sands." But the verdict didn't end there. Turning to damages, he continued, "The court also finds that Kody Brown and Robin Brown must jointly repay $320,000 withdrawn from family accounts without consent. This sum shall be equally divided among Christine, Janelle, and Mary within 12 months. Kody's shoulders slumped. Robin trembled violently, whispering to her attorney. Finally, the judge said, "All parties are strongly encouraged to participate in professional mediation regarding ongoing family business and the welfare of minor children. This is not merely a legal issue. It is a human one." With a final gavel strike, the verdict was official. For a suspended moment, no one moved. Then Christine turned to her children, voice soft yet fierce. "We did it. We're free." Janelle wiped her eyes, laughter and tears mingling as she hugged Christine. Mary, stoic yet visibly moved, whispered, "I never thought this day would come." We stood together. Across the room, Robin wept quietly, reaching for Kody's hand, but he was lost in devastation. "I'm sorry," she murmured, though whether for herself, him, or the tangled past, no one could tell. Kody remained frozen, replaying every misstep, every broken promise, every secret deal he had once believed could hold his family together. Now, as it slipped from his grasp, he finally understood the true price of control. As the gallery emptied, reporters surged forward. Christine faced them, holding her daughters close. "We fought for our family, our dignity, for what was promised.
This isn't just about land.
It's about standing up for ourselves. Janelle added, it's about being seen, about being heard. No more shadows, no more silence. Mary, newfound confidence in her voice, said simply, we're not broken. We're starting over. Meanwhile, Kody and Robin left through a side exit, hounded by cameras. He muttered, no comment, while Robin leaned into him, comfort hollow. At home that night, the children gathered, some jubilant, some cautious. For the first time in years, Christine, Janelle, and Mary felt the weight lifting. Plans were made, new homes discussed, boundaries redefined. Pain remained, but freedom had arrived. Robin wandered through the empty halls, clutching a family photo, tears mixing regret with the